All
My
right.
bad. But
Uh,
yeah, just had a few questions, like just little stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, man. Anyway, let me see. Shalom. First and foremost, want to start off by giving all praise, to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. I have brother Dasan on here with me. We just want to, have like a little, discussion, about the scriptures. Dasan, the mic's yours.
Shalom, shalom out there. Shalom.
Yeah, yeah, we just wanted to, discuss, some of these things that we're seeing, going on in the world right now, man. Like this whole, cargo, ship, situation. That's just a sign of the
Mm-hmm.
times, man. And I can attest to that myself because, when you go to these grocery stores, man, these places are almost out of everything, man. I mean, hell, I was at damn, what's that place, right? The Dollar General earlier. I went to the aisle to look at the, the toiletries and, the plastic, forks and, the paper plates, paper towels and all that. And they're completely dry, right? They're ran through. There's nothing there. That shows you, man, that these
On that.
stores, are starting to, be hit hard, man. Right? So that just shows you that's a sign of the times.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go to like a store tomorrow and see how it is. In person actually.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. As I said, why we have the opportunity, at hand, we should pick up, some extra, goods to put in the house, like toiletries, and stuff like that, so when these,
Toiletries.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that, so when, these shortages come, we won't be as affected as these, these people out here, man, running around like, zombies out here. And I remember, going back a year or almost 2 years now, when this whole thing started, you had people out there, man, who literally, were panic buying, like literally five
Oh yeah.
carts of damn toilet paper, man. So that just shows you, man, that these people are going all out, over damn toilet paper. And there was some videos on YouTube that people put up of people having, fist fights in these, supermarkets over toilet paper. Right. So it just shows you, man, that these Edomites are done. I'll throw the mic back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, like, seeing them a year ago, have a panic attack over the toilet paper. For me, it was kind of crazy, especially, since I wasn't as, I was still like fresh, to the truth, But like just seeing that, like it just shows, like, dang, like it's crazy to see, people going crazy over toilet paper. I
Yeah,
mean, I can
yeah.
see why, a cleaning utensil, that, stuff like that. But still, it's like, damn,
Yeah,
if I
absolutely,
know it,
man. Yeah, yeah,
buying somebody.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Sorry to cut you off, man, but yeah, absolutely. These people are running wild out here, man. Like I remember in Philadelphia, last year, I believe it was actually around this time or something like that. With the George Floyd situation, right? People were in riots about that. So what happened was, like literally a whole, street was ransacked. You had like 3,000 people out
Mm,
there that were, just raiding these stores. And I was watching it live as it happened. And the police officers, they showed up at the scene, but they couldn't even do anything because there was so many people there, literally running in the store, grabbing, Apple products, TVs, whatever they wanted. And the police could just
mm-hmm,
literally just stand there and watch. They couldn't do anything because there was so many people. And that just shows us, man, that, we're in some, these are some
mm-hmm,
good times, man. These are some beautiful times before us because those prophecies are popping off like
mm-hmm,
popcorn, man. As the elder apostle Dahar says, which of course we want to give, a sincere shalom, to all the brothers,
shalom.
in Great Millstone, and of course, much
Mm-hmm,
respect to the elders and to the apostles of GMS, right? Much respects most certainly due to those brothers. But yeah, man, we're definitely in those days, man. And
mm-hmm,
these prophecies are not going to slow down. These things are just going to intensify, and they're just going to get worse as times goes on. That's bad for these people in the world, but for us, this is a good thing. There's a scripture that says, when you see these things come to pass, look up because your redemption draws near, right? So our salvation is near. I'll throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, like that's definitely true. You know, it's a good thing of Jake, but for the heathen and the Jake that's in the world and stuff like that, not really on this thing. It's very concerning for them. I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And as the
Go ahead.
I realize as the days go on, the hours and stuff like that, it's like dang, like it's really like because how like you always hear like from the other elders and teachers that like how like it feels like it's like continuing, like you think it would end a lot more sooner, and it definitely and it definitely is, it definitely will, and it definitely is going to, but for someone that's like
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying, man. I know what you're saying, and that's why. What is that? If you go to I want to say Habakkuk 2:2, it says what, that the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Right. So these visions, that the prophets were given back in those times, they were for a appointed time. Right. So it says what, that though they tarry, wait for it because it will surely come. Right. So these things that we've been
yeah.
talking about. I mean, hell, the apostles of Great Millstone, they've been out there since the 80s, telling the people about these things. And here we are, Elder Apostle DeHar's almost been in this truth for 40 years now, right? So here we are about 40 years later, and now what the elder was out there teaching, we're seeing these things happen, man, right? So that just shows you, how serious we got to take these things. Now we're seeing, now that we're seeing all these things, we got to seek this truth 10 times more. Right, we got to seek this knowledge and this understanding, 10 times more, because another thing as well, is this platform called YouTube. This place isn't going to be around forever, man. This whole platform that we, communicate, over, share videos on, get edification and learn on. This is only here for a limited time, but one day they're going to pull that internet, kill switch, and you're not going to be able to watch YouTube anymore, so we should take advantage, of this, platform while we have it available to us. I'll throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, definitely. Because basically, like the longer we go on, it kind of seems like the Lord's like showing us mercy, still technically, because it kind of feels like it's going on, like it's kind of going on for a long time. But at the same time, it's like the Lord's kind of like, it feels like the Lord's showing us mercy, because the Lord could have just make it happen right now, everything just pop off our end, like pop. But it just seems like everything like the Lord's like showing us mercy,
Yeah,
like showing us
absolutely.
grace,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And another thing as well is the Lord's actually, showing mercy unto these 2/3. Why? Because some of these, 2/3, some of them might actually hear this word, and then they might actually take this seriously and actually try to get right with the Lord, because the statistics show that during this whole lockdown, these truth videos that we've been putting up, these have got, much more attraction than they had prior to the whole, shutdown, right? So that shows us that people have actually been watching these things, right? Whether it be for entertainment or whether some of them, actually wanted to learn this. That just shows us, man, that the Lord is, be having mercy right now. That some of these, people who are in the world, they might hear this and they might have a chance, to get right. That's why, what is that? If you go to Isaiah chapter, 55 verse 6, it says, what? Seek the Lord while he might be found, right? Call upon the Lord while he is near, right? So the Lord is near right now, right? The Lord, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, they're showing their mercy right now because we're coming into, a time of, Jacob's trouble, right? Also called the Great Tribulation, is the time period that we're going to soon, be coming into here. So we want to, get ourselves right, right? We want to be right with the Lord, before we come into this time period, of trouble that we're, soon going to find ourselves in here. So we just got to get right, why we have the opportunity. I'll throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, yeah, like, so yeah, so, you know, when that time comes, and when people, been giving out the warnings and letting people know, hey, repent, time's ticking, the clock's ticking, and considering how everything's kind of felt like it's been extended a bit, they really, there shouldn't be too much of an excuse, I guess, right, and stuff like that for people not wanting to come back to the Lord, like, because we had, plenty of time, or, quite a amount of time to, get right, the days, the weeks, months, whatever, so,
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man.
especially,
Go ahead.
especially for, like, the people that, were teaching outside, preaching outside, I'm sure they won't, I'm sure they experienced it, teaching the people and letting them know that I'm sure they won't have, as much pity because, they've been out there for years and, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But hey, we just gotta, be thankful that that we were
Yeah.
one who was, was chosen to know this information. Right now, of course, it is true. The scriptures say many are called, but a few have been chosen. Right. So we don't know if we're chosen yet, but at least we were called into this. Right. So we actually have a chance, of receiving salvation. Compared to these people out here. So even though at times it seems tough for us, in the world, and Christ even told us that, right? Yahushua even told us that if we go to, what is that, Luke the 16th chapter? I believe it's the 17th verse or the 33rd verse. It says what? That in me, you'll have peace, but in the world, you will have tribulation, right? So in the world, we're going to have some trouble, but the peaceful thing about it is that, we know that if we make it through this, right, if we continue on this narrow path that we're on, we're going to receive a inheritance, right? We're going to receive, a reward, for going through this. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's the most important thing to know that, to realize and then to know, to always remind yourself there's a reward, after this or whatever, but it's probably like just not for the, I mean, it's like, it's not like the important thing, is to, preach the truth, first, and then everything will come upon you later on,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. We just, as I said, we just gotta, take this thing
think of the Most
seriously.
High.
Yeah,
Be like, I'm
yeah.
doing this for Him.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Or,
Absolutely, absolutely, man. As I said, this thing isn't gonna be easy, right? Hey, look, this truth is not a cakewalk, as some guys like to make it.
yeah, it is.
And and we'll give an example. You have those guys. What is that? I believe it's the LUIC. They teach that we're not gonna go through Jacob's trouble, right? That there's no such thing as Jacob's trouble. Those guys are clearly going off, teaching that, teaching the people they're not gonna have to go through anything. Those guys are clearly off because the scriptures say that the elect is going to have to go through the tribulation. The scriptures do say, though, that the days, right, those days are going to be cut short, for the elect's sake, right? So that's a good thing. But that proves the elects, will be on the earth during that time because, and we spoke about this last time, but you have guys out here, teaching that we're not going to have to go through nothing, right? That it's just going to be a cakewalk into the kingdom. But that's clearly not true, So as I said, man, for you brothers watching, man, we just got to be diligent and watch who we listen to, right? Don't just believe, anybody because they, come on YouTube and talk. And even guys out there who use the name Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, even some of them are going off. I'll give an example. You have a group out there that calls themselves, Team Yahweh Shai, which they might teach a few things that are right. We'll give them that. They might say some things that are right. But then they go off, right, teaching that Christ is a white man, or saying that salvation's for all people. That's clearly going off, right? So you just got to check these guys and see if what they're saying is in line with the scriptures. I'll throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, like, it's crazy, like, by now, you would like by now, you should like it's probably evident by now, who's telling the truth and who's lying, by now, you know, uh, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. It's definitely evident now. Who's telling the truth. I mean, hell, man. These Christian churches. I was just driving by a few of the churches the other day when I was out with the family and whatnot, and we saw these churches. They were doing, basically trick or treat. They call it trunk or treat,
Oh,
which is yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They basically, let the kids dress up and get candy out of the back of their cars or whatnot. But they're really still celebrating Halloween. They just don't call it the same thing. But it just shows you, man, that these churches out here are weak and they don't know what's going on, right? Those churches don't know the scriptures, right? But unlike us, you know, they're out there saying that you don't have to keep the laws, right? You can eat whatever you want, which is clearly wrong. But we're out there telling the people what? That we have to the best of your ability, follow the commandments, right? So it's evident that we, starting with the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down, that we have to be the men of the Most High. It's just evident. Or as Mind of God would say, right? The proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the pudding at this point. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, Halloween's gonna be tomorrow. You know, uh, as far as Halloween and how that goes, that's a pagan holiday. A pagan tradition that for us that we used to be able to world, we used to celebrate, but now, we know not to celebrate that anymore. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Not to.
Yeah,
Not to,
absolutely.
because I remember.
Go ahead.
Cause I remember, me, I used to be, I used to dress up, in costumes and shit.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Niggas are grown. I'm like, nah. But for us, we shouldn't really be participating into that. And I heard, that on that day or whatever of Halloween that we should probably stay in the house or something. Maybe.
Yeah, man. I would say that's probably a smart idea, man, because these Satanists and whatever out here. I mean, hell, who knows what they're out there doing, on that, satanic, high holy day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it might be a good idea, just to lock the doors and to stay inside, and pull those, blinds closed. You know what I'm saying? It might be a good idea to do that, on Halloween. But it just shows you, man. Going back to what we're saying, it just proves that these churches, they don't have the truth, man. Out here celebrating, satanic, holidays, man. It's like, what the hell are these Christians doing, man? These Christians are clearly weak. Oh, and then, we can't forget this. You can't have a Catholic get together, without somebody bringing, the pork, right? You can't have someone, yeah, and it's sad, but, it just shows you, man. These guys out here who claim, to follow the scriptures, they don't know what's going on, right? But, hey, the scriptures say what? We have tried them who say that they are teachers, and we have found them to be liars, right? So we listened to what the pastors were saying, but then we found out that they are liars, right? And I can speak for myself, because I was brought up in the church. I was raised for part of my life in the Catholic Church when I was, pretty young. But then we went to the Seventh-day Adventist, church. And really, even though I will give the Seventh-day Adventist, a little credit because they actually teach to obey the laws, right? They teach to follow the commandments. I will give them that credit. But even with that being said, they're even out there, clearly going off, teaching that white Jesus, saying salvation's for everyone. All those things are clearly wrong, right? All of those are clearly against the scriptures. So all of these Christian groups, man, are clearly, going off. I mean, hell, the Seventh-day Adventists, they teach that the Catholic Church is Babylon the Great. So that shows you that those guys are way off. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, Christianity and Catholic. I wasn't a Catholic back in the day. But yeah, Christianity and Catholic, they definitely, had a hand in, Esau too. The white man. Okay. He had a hand in, in fooling the whole world, and believing, that he was white, and all that stuff, even the younger kids or whatever, you know. We all believe, you know,
Oh yeah,
uh,
absolutely, man.
you
I
know,
absolutely. It's like dealing with the whole Santa Claus thing, right? That's what it is. That's a good example, right? They told all the kids that there's Santa, who comes and gives you presents, when you if you're good, right? So they teach them that to be good. But the
mm,
same thing with this
yeah,
white Jesus, right? They're out there teaching, oh, well, there's a loving God out there who loves everybody, right? You can do whatever you want, and Christ will still love you. And that's clearly going off. You can't willingly go around, you know, eating whatever you want, and breaking all the laws, and still believe that the Lord's going to love somebody who does that. That's wickedness, right there. But this is what the church is out here teaching our people, man.
yeah, sure. Um, yeah, like, it's like celebrating the like the Egyptian customs, right? Or things back in the day, like, you know, always trying to party, always trying to, you know, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
just,
I hear you,
be,
man. Yeah, I definitely hear you. That's the spirit that people are in, over here in Babylon the Great. These people are partying it up. That's all these people are, accustomed to, over here in Babylon the Great. And I know certain people, in the world, over the years, who that's all they care about, especially the women, right? They're out there talking about,
oh yeah, the woman,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
women are out there talking about, bragging about how many men, they slept with. And that's all this American culture. You know what I'm saying? That's all this American culture, right? The philosophy of
mm-hmm,
Babylon the Great. You have idiots out here. What's that cat? Faithful servants of Christ is what he calls himself. He did a video yesterday, and he was saying that the Catholic Church is that great city that reigns over the earth, who deceived the earth with her philosophy. And that shows you, man, that these Christians are clearly wrong, because the place that rules over the earth and that made the people drunk off of her philosophy is talking about the United States. That's why if you go to Saudi Arabia, the women over there are pushing, to be liberated, right? So they can walk around, in jeans, be able to operate vehicles, be part of their army. You know what I'm saying? And that all stemmed
mm,
down from America, right? That great city who reigns over the earth. It's not talking about the Vatican. I'll throw it back to you.
yeah, uh, yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, partying, you know, once in a while, you know, especially if you're a person that
Right,
probably
right.
hasn't partied too much. You know, there's no wrong once in a while, but
Yeah, it's
don't go
cool.
overboard. Don't, you know, don't go out in the streets, or, you know, don't get caught up in that lifestyle. What happened, well, you know, pretty recently was my my brother's, well, you know, my sister-in-law, whatever, you know, she, she didn't party when she was in her 20s, and, you know, she didn't really go out as much, you know, or whatever.
Right.
Uh, And you know, when she was in her 30s, you know, that's what she did. She partied, went out and stuff like that. And she was approaching, like, her 38, 40, whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
basically, this was like a few days ago that she got caught up. A situation happened where someone got shot, and she was probably up with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. But yeah, going back, just to land back off of something you said, yeah, we can we can party once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. There's scriptures that say, hey, if all possible, do good unto yourself. Yeah, you can enjoy yourself once in a while. That's certainly fine. And even Paul spoke about, that it's okay to use this world, right? We can't abuse it, but we can use the world to our advantage, right? So yeah, we can party once in a while. That's all cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, hell, you do want to make sure you're not overdoing it. It's like,
Yeah.
what's that cat? Look at the Sakari, right? They were out there, on the Passover. They were going to the club after, right? They were bringing, strippers, into the Passover. It's like, what the hell are those guys doing? So we don't want to be doing what those guys are doing. But yeah, once in a while, it's certainly okay to have a little bit of fun, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'll throw it back to you.
Uh, yeah. You know. Uh. Yeah. There is a. like ECC said, don't go overboard. There's no wrong too much, with getting down or dancing a bit, because it probably releases a certain,
Yeah,
type of
absolutely.
stress or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
believe they call it dopamine, if I'm not mistaken, right? That stuff is always, good, right? It's definitely, a stress reliever, to have fun once in a while. So as I said, hey,
yeah,
if at all possible, do good unto yourself. So yeah, it's definitely fine, to party and to have some fun every once in a while. That's a good thing, right? We all need to, take a breather, once in a while. We all have to, do something fun, in the world, once in a while. That's always fine. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, Dasan, you want to, give any final words before I end off the lesson?
Yeah. I'll just say, it is fun to have fun, but just it's important to always, like it's fun to always look out and still be watchful, but don't do it don't do it overboard, especially in these times, partying and stuff. Don't go overboard, in these times, especially that we're in. But but then there's probably nothing wrong with partying for like an hour or 30 minutes or something, listen to music or something. But other than that, don't go too overboard. Don't lose sight of what's important or you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. In fact, there's a parable in, I believe it's the book of Luke. It's about, how, there was a man who was once a watchman, watching for the Lord to return. But then he went and partied with the drunkards, right? So he got himself all drunk and whatnot.
Mm,
And then after doing that for so long, he pretty much stopped, waiting for the Lord to return, right? And that's a good parable. If anybody knows that, you can put that down in the comment section for everyone to read. Um, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with partying once in a while, but we just got to do it in moderation, right? So yeah,
yeah, moderation.
yeah,
That's the
man.
word. Yeah, moderation.
Yeah, but we just wanted to, do a little spiritual commentary, on a few, hot topics right now, for a lack of better words. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to subscribe to Brother Dasan's channel, I will leave a link in the comment section. It will be pinned in the comment section. Go subscribe to the brother's channel. Because he does
uh,
videos over there too, man. So you brothers got to go give him, some a watch or so, man. Go subscribe to that brother. But anyway, we of course want to end off, by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, for this truth. And, we're going to end off with saying shalom.